What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Figuring It Out Finance podcast. As always, my name is Chris Rickenbaugh, and I am here documenting my journey in real estate, and that is going to be the message of this podcast because flip number 2 is finally complete and up on the market. And you can see that in my last blog post right before episode number 99, which is this podcast. But before I hop into any of that, go check out figuringitoutfinance.com, where you're going to find all of the links to the podcast and all of my social media. I post daily on TikTok and Instagram, where you can follow my progress and what I am doing day to day in my business. So if you go on Instagram or TikTok, you can easily see that project number 2 has officially been completed. You know, we're still doing a couple touch-ups, like getting the HVAC vents cleaned out, we just actually sold the shed in the backyard. We might be able to touch up the fence in the backyard as well, but getting a couple showings on it already. So had a really good open house this past Sunday, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what it's been like these past couple months and where we are at on trying to sell this thing. So go check those out if you want the full tour, and go check out my last blog post between episode 98 and 99 to be able to check out all of those before and after pictures. So this one has been a hell of a long project. We thought it was going to be about 10 weeks, and then we got delayed a week right off the start because we had to wait about 3 to 4 days to be able to do demo. Then we found there were yellow jackets in the wall, so that delayed us almost a whole other week because they couldn't do anything on the top side. So we ended up having to pretty much take it down to the studs on the upstairs, other than like the walls in the 2 bedrooms, and then everything on the basement was open. So had to cut into the concrete and on the downstairs level because that was slab. So basically just a big piece of concrete. So we had to cut in there on the downstairs area, but I'm going to run through the top side. So like I said, we pretty much did a full gut rehab on this property. Roof, had to install an HVAC unit, and then everything in the kitchen, that's all new drywall. All the bathrooms got completely redone. We ripped up all the carpets, or there were no carpet. All the flooring, had to put down carpet. Had to pretty much replace almost all of the deck and get that refinished. And then we had to strip the entire outside of the house and put on like a higher end type of, it wasn't batting board like we thought we were going to end up putting on it, but it was an artisan V board, I think was the correct term for it, from Lowe's. And that was something my contractor found, and he got probably an 80% discount on it. So it was pretty high dollar stuff that he was able to get on a discount for us. So saved us a ton of money. House looks great. We painted it all white on the outside, but so it was all running relatively smooth in there. But a couple of the speed bumps we had with this project, other than that first week with the yellow jackets and just getting delayed on demo, was we had a hurricane come through. So that took us out a week. And then my contractor had some personal or family stuff go on. So he was out for a couple days to a week in there as well. So that's already about 3 to 3.5 weeks. And, you know, you have to be human. You have to understand that people have stuff happen in their lives. So we worked with them. You know, I'm not going to hold them to the grindstone and be like, hey, man, you need to be here. You need to be grinding on this project. You got to be human and let these guys, you know, do their thing, and also, you know, be a business owner. So, you know, that none of that was a problem for me. I understand it. He does a great job for me. He manages all of the contractors, subcontractors, all of that. So, we were able to get through that part. And so we pretty much had all of the top side finished. And then what happened is all we really wanted to do was get the basement counted as square footage, because we weren't, you know, we were going to do a little bit of renovation, but I'm like, I just want to count this down here. And I thought we would be good. So that's on my fault or that is my fault, because I thought, it was going to be a simple process. We didn't know, or I didn't know, that any of these permits needed pulled until I started asking questions from the county. I said, hey, we just need to, count this. And they're like, okay, well, did you fill out these permit forms? No, because we're not doing that. Okay, well, you still need to figure this out. And then we started sending pictures and more communication. They're like, well, we need to know exactly what's going on in there. So eventually we had to get the drawings. We had to give them all of the plans and all of the contractors working on that house. So that part delayed us about 2 to almost 3 months to pretty much where we're at right now, because once you start working with the inspectors, it's going to be very ticky-tack on just trying to get everything done the exact correct way, which it needs to be done that way, and we should have been doing that from the start. But we didn't know that we were going to have to end up pulling these permits. So we had guys working on the house that, worked for licensed companies, but they come out and do side work. So we had to have actual licensed people for those licensed companies come out, inspect it, and then pretty much redo a lot of the work, because it just wasn't exactly how that inspector wanted it to be. So that slowed us down for quite a few weeks, and it ended up being 2 months to where we finally got the go ahead about 2.5 weeks ago to get that drywall in, and then they're just trying to finish up all the little things. We're trying to coordinate how to stage the house, and the little things probably took about a week, just trying to touch up the paint, trying to make sure everything in that house is, all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. So, we still have a couple little things, like I said, but most of it, we just need 2 inspections done. So we need the final building inspection and the final plumbing. Supposed to get that done today, but, through all the cleaning and all of some debris got into a little bit of the plumbing, so they had to snake that out today or call in a real plumber. So we're getting that taken care of, and hopefully that should pass all of those inspections for us, and we should be good to go and get that thing sold. But it is officially live on the market. It's been on there for about 4 days. We've had 2 showings, a good open house, and we're going to end up trying to sell that thing right around $400,000. So, such a long process, but the things I learned from it is, we need to be straight up and honest about what we're doing, because if we went ahead and did all of that work and it wasn't inspected, then they would come in and, we would have a lot bigger problems, even though we got all of that work done. So knowing that we want to go and target that neighborhood, we want to be able to be completely on the side of the inspectors and, get that everything up to code, work where we can and just be able to work with them if we're going to be doing this for the long haul. So being able to go through this process, yes, it was very painful and slow, and it was tough on the finances, but, we were able to learn so much through this process, and it really, really tested me. So, definitely hoping to still make some money off of it. We're not sure exactly where the numbers are going to sit, but we know what we're going to be able to do as soon as this thing gets sold. So we're going to have a good little pile of cash as soon as it's cashed out. Hopefully it gets sold quick, and then we'll be able to just roll that into more opportunities and flips. So other than that, that is just the kind of like the broad scope of what happened from beginning to end here. And now it's on the market. We want that thing sold quick to be able to go do a couple more flips here. We have 2 other projects going at the moment. One is the duplex flip, and then the other, we're just about a month away from being able to get in there and get started on that demolition and get started on that entire flip, because we're evicting a tenant. We still have 1 under contract that's in probate, so we don't know when we're going to close on that. And then just talking to a couple other private lenders and seeing, how can we get started on this now? How can we be able to get creative and get rolling on these other flips, have some money coming in? So always working on that. And then pretty much going from there, having some really good conversation. And then my wife is going to be able to join us to where we're going to be able to start sending out offers left and right and wholesaling those opportunities or keeping them as flips for ourselves. So that is the near future, but that's going to be all for today's podcast. Just wanted to update everybody on where that project was at, and we are officially complete. So that is super exciting. And now with it being on the market, we're hoping for a quick sell and a cash out early February. So hopefully we get that thing rolling. And that's about all I got for this podcast. So thank you for tuning in, and I'll be back on Friday for episode number 100. So in that one, I'll be talking a little bit about how I'm going to be going about the podcast on the first couple episodes and seeing, how I've transitioned to where I'm at now and what my focus is going to be with this platform. Because, doing 100 episodes in less than a year, I was doing 3 in the beginning. Now I'm doing 2. 2 is working a lot better, and just figuring out how to grow consistent viewers over time. So you can tune in on episode 100, and it's going to be all about the podcast. So thank you for tuning in, and I will continue to update on flip number 2 and getting that sucker sold. So, we'll see you on the next one. This is Chris Rickenbaugh signing off for the Figuring It Out Finance podcast, episode number 99.